Hello and welcome to New Mexico Rising. My name is Dan. You know, each and every week I try to bring people from across the country to talk to me about things we can do right here in your neighborhood. Oh, and on this week's show, we got this.
The production team behind it, they wrote a script. I think we ended up ad-libbing about 90 to 95% of it.
It's very important to make a plan, right? This is money that you have earned, so don't go spend it all at once. Keep it in your plan.
But this is his story, 93% as it happened. And so from the very beginning, I knew that I needed to do this justice. And this is a veteran story.
All of that and more right here on New Mexico Rising. NBA Twitter is a world of its own, where memes become legends, viral moments spark debates, and basketball never sleeps. And now it's all coming to life in Memes and Nightmares. It's a satirical mockumentary diving deep into the culture of digital fandom. And at the center of it all, we have Josiah Johnson, the king of NBA Twitter himself. He's here to talk about the film, the madness of social media, and you know how basketball went from a game to a 24/7 online phenomenon. Welcome to the show, Josiah. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, Dan. I appreciate the two cameras and the cutting, all the stuff you got going on over there, man. That's legendary. That's ball. Excited to get this going. I gotta show love. I gotta show love when I see stuff that I appreciate, man. But thank you so much for having me. Excited to help promote this film, Memes and Nightmares, premiering February 20th, streaming exclusively on Hulu. For me to get the opportunity to work with somebody like LeBron James, who's my favorite basketball player of all time, and work with his company SpringHill and also the good folks over at Anscape and Starry to make this thing happen, man. I'm just super excited right now. I'm smiling ear to ear, my heart's fluttering, just ready for people to see this thing.
You should be proud and you should be honored, man. You've built a reputation as like the king of NBA Twitter. So how did you take that energy and bring it into Memes and Nightmares?
So really just for me, the film, we've been working on this thing for over 3.5 years now. We did a lot of the principal photography back in 2022. For anybody who's a Twitter fan, which is now called X, I'll never call it X, only just obviously to tell you the new name that it has, but knows that there was a huge shift in 2022. The platform changed a lot. But LeBron and his crew over at SpringHill reached out to me, said they had an idea for a film. They wanted to show some love to NBA Twitter. And I think something that was important for me was to really just pay tribute and homage to the men and women who have helped make this community what it is. Like, there's so many incredibly talented people, everyday people that have used and leveraged this thing to grow and put themselves in positions they may have never imagined, myself included, and also the players, the fans, the teams, and just this whole world. So I think this film really takes a deep dive into that world to really show people, even if you're a casual fan and you've always been curious what NBA Twitter is, this film really helps highlight that.
I agree with you. It went from tweeting to, what do we call it now? Excreting? God.
Yeah. It's always going to be Twitter to me. It ain't never changing.
All right. You know, this film is like a buddy cop style satire on internet culture. What was it like playing off Jamal Johnson, and how was that dynamic shape the comedy?
Jamal, one of my favorite comedians, very heavy in not only the NBA Twitter, but WNBA Twitter spaces. So it's crazy. So the production team behind it, they wrote a script. I think we ended up ad-libbing about 90 to 95% of it. We would take a look at the script, whatever the emotion of the scene was, if you will. Jamal, just such an amazing improver. I was just trying to keep space with him, or keep up with him, go to toe with him, if you will. But for us, it was just, every day on set was, just us trying to make each other laugh. And I think that's really reflected in the film. And we were friends before we worked on this project. So to be able to do things with people that you respect with your friends, I think always makes things easier. So, showing up every day on set, there were some long days, 14, 16, 18-hour days, but we'd always keep the mood light. And I think even, filming this was reflective of what NBA Twitter is for a lot of us. It's just a place to get the jokes off, lighthearted, and to share our love of basketball. So being able to work with Jamel, being able to work with the other members of the production team, truly, just you have a lot of great relationships with a lot of those people. So to see this thing now finally come and be released it's a labor of love, and I'm super excited about it.
And NBA Twitter has produced some of the wildest viral moments over the years. Were there any real life stories or memes that inspired scenes in the movie?
Yeah, I think we do a lot of callbacks just to NBA Twitter culture and vital moments that, if you're a basketball fan, they're basically Easter eggs, if they call them in the production world, but Easter eggs that people will be able to watch and I think understand what we're doing. But also we wanted to make sure that this thing wasn't too inside-y. It wasn't just you had to be a member of NBA Twitter or deep into that world to understand the film. So we have a lot of stuff for even the casual fans to help learn and help them kind of improve their knowledge of the space. But a lot of moments that we pay tribute to throughout the film.
Josiah Johnson, you're the man. Memes and Nightmares, it drops on Hulu right now. And if you ever laughed at an NBA meme or like been sucked into a Twitter debate, this one's for you. Josiah, thanks for hanging out with me, my friend.
Hey, thank you, Dan, and make sure everybody you go watch, get Hulu if you don't got it. Check out Memes and Nightmares. It's streaming on Hulu, like Dan said. And help support me, help yourself learn about NBA Twitter.
You're the man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
There are lots of viruses going around this winter. COVID-19, the flu, RSV, and more. In fact, COVID-19 cases tripled from November to January, sending thousands of people to the hospital. If you're 65 or older and got your COVID-19 shot in the fall, it might be time for another dose. Here to help us understand how to stay protected this season is Dr. Middleton, Professor of Family Medicine at the University of Pittsburgh. Good morning, Dr. Middleton.
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for having me on, and thanks for covering this topic, which is extremely important because it seems that people thought COVID had sort of gone away and have strayed from getting vaccines the way they should. So you're exactly right. If you're 65 years of age and older, or if you have underlying immunocompromising conditions like diabetes or asthma or congestive heart failure, or you're being treated for some serious illness like a cancer, you need to get a second shot. The first shot of 2024-2025 COVID vaccine should have been given in September, October, November, and the second shot for 65 and older and immunocompromising conditions should be given 6 months later. The reason for that is that the antibody levels that older individuals get from the vaccine are not quite as good or as high as those that are produced in younger individuals. And as they fall off, we want to boost them back up to make sure that you're covered. COVID vaccine does more than prevent you from dying, by the way. It also stops problems like long COVID, which has been a real problem. About 10 to 20% of individuals who recover from COVID have some sort of long complication.
We're also hearing a lot about a quad-demic. What does that mean?
Besides COVID increasing, we've also been seeing a marked increase in influenza and an increase in respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, which came late this year. So influenza and COVID often overlap, but this year RSV is thrown into the mix. And the fourth virus is actually not a respiratory virus, but is a gastrointestinal virus called norovirus. And sadly, there is no vaccine as yet for norovirus, but it is dangerous for the elderly and for young individuals, particularly babies. Which reminds me, everybody age 6 months of age and older needs to get an annual flu vaccine, and everybody age 6 months of age or older needs to get a COVID vaccine, and they need to get the 2024-2025 dose, because COVID changed so much that all the other vaccines you got are not helpful, and they don't protect you from getting COVID again. So, but you only need to get the second COVID shot if you're 65 years of age and older, or if you have one of those underlying conditions that make you be at risk. The CDC websites list the conditions that make you be at risk and require that you get a second dose. Or you can go to the Moderna website, and I am speaking today on Moderna's behalf. You can go to their website, which is quite easy to remember, actually. It's foryouandthem.com. That's all one phrase, foryouandthem.com. And that will give you a list of the vaccines that are needed for different indications and different ages.
Dr. Middleton, thank you for joining me this morning.
Yes, well, good luck. I hope people are involved with vaccines and get out there and get those 3 vaccines we have available for RSV, COVID, and flu, and stay safe for the rest of the winter.
Thanks again, Dr. Middleton.
Take care.
Do you ever feel like your budget could use a little more volume? Well, forget quiet penny pinching. Loud budgeting is taking over. Instead of splurging more, people are proudly saving, setting clear financial goals, and maximizing every dollar, including that tax refund. So here to break down how to make the most of your money in 2025 is Carlos Garcia, a personal finance expert. Welcome to the show, Carlos.
Hi, Dan. Great to be here.
So what is the first thing people should focus on when setting up a personal budget?
The first thing that people should do is create a simple plan. And I suggest to start with a 50-30-20 rule. And the way this rule works is that 50% of your monthly expenses should be going into your needs. That's your housing, your food, your transportation. 30% into your wants, and then 20% into your future you. And what I mean by the future you is your savings and your investments, things that you're going to need in the future.
So what are some of the biggest reasons people fall behind on their finances, and how could they avoid them?
One of the main reasons why people fall behind in their financial plans is that they set really high expectations, and it's hard to get there. So what I suggest is to start with a simple plan on a monthly basis with things that you can achieve, even if they're small. Now, once you are achieving these goals, use loud budgeting, which is something that it's trending right now in social media, by sharing with others what is it that you're doing in 2025 to save money. And by sharing how you're saving money, you'll perhaps create an incentive for others to start saving money the way you're doing it.
Tax refunds, they tend to be like a huge help. What is the best way we can make most out of that extra cash?
Well, now that we're in the tax season and some of us are going to get a tax refund, it's very important to make a plan, right? This is money that you have earned, so don't go spend it all at once. Keep it in your plan. But the second thing that sometimes we forget is that there are other ways you can save money. For example, companies such as Metro by T-Mobile allow you to get further discounts if you set your plans, you pay your plans in automatic. So set these auto pays and save money in additional ways. That's a great way to keep saving money month after month.
Can you tell us about Metro by T-Mobile's offer for new customers this year?
Yes, Metro by T-Mobile is offering new customers this year 4 Samsung A15 phones with 4 lines for $100 a month, and there's no ID requirements. Now, in addition, if you renew your plan year after year, you'll be able to get a new phone. So it's very simple and it's a great deal.
Carlos Garcia, thanks for joining me this morning and helping us out with our financial planning this year.
Thanks for having me, Dan. Great to be here.
Where can we go for more information?
For more information, you can go to metrobytmobile.com and learn more. You'll also find access to other savings. You can save money even in gas and food, or if you're a soccer fan or a baseball fan, you can get access to MLS or MLB at Metro by T-Mobile.
Thanks again for joining me this morning.
Thank you.
Do you ever feel like winter weather is working overtime against your skin? You know, between the dry air, the chilly winds, keeping your skin and hair healthy this season can be a real challenge, but luckily, it's not impossible. So today we have dermatologist Dr. Alexis Stevens, a board-certified skincare expert from Parkland Dermatology and Cosmetic Surgery. She's here with her top picks for staying hydrated and glowing all winter long. And if you look at this face, you see it? I need it! Welcome to the show, Dr. Stevens.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. You know, this winter weather, it's kicking my butts. Maybe I should start paying a little more attention to my skin. When I'm reading the script, it makes me realize, yeah, I need to change my skin routine because I've been feeling weird. I've been feeling chapped and all of that. But why is it important to adjust our routine when this cold weather hits?
Yes, so it's so true. If you don't pay really good attention to keeping your hydration up, you will get really dry and really chapped, literally from your head to your toe. And that's because the winter really wreaks havoc on our skin barrier. We're getting more dry. We're having the winter kind of strip all that moisture from our skin barrier, and it's happening everywhere. So one of my recommendations is to stay hydrated by making sure you're drinking your water, but then using products that give back the moisture and hydration to your scalp, your face, and your body skin.
Okay. So what about for our face? What products do you recommend to keep our skin moisturized and protected from these winter winds?
Yes. So for your face, you do want to make sure you're using a really good moisturizer. But I like to say to use a moisturizer that also has a sunscreen because we often forget to use our sunscreen in the wintertime. Olay Complete Plus Daily Facial Moisturizer with SPF 40 is a fantastic option for this because it's a 3-in-1. So not only is it protecting you from the sun with an SPF 40, but it also moisturizes the skin, it's nourishing the skin, and it's giving back to your skin barrier. This one is really great because it's fragrance-free and non-comedogenic, so you don't have to worry about clogging your pores. And it's good for all skin tones and textures because it does not leave a white cast behind. So this is one of my favorite recommendations because it makes life easy. You've got your moisturizer and your sunscreen all in one product.
Okay, do you have anything for hair? Because like my biggest problem is either one or the other. My hair is either really greasy or it's just really dry and frizzy. I don't have that natural in-between state that I've always wanted. Like it's always like one or the other, and it drives me insane. Do you have anything to help me out with that?
Yes, so let's balance you out, friend. One of the best things that you can do for dryness or stubborn dandruff that happens is using Head & Shoulders Clinical Strength Dry Scalp Rescue Shampoo. This is easily found at Walmart, and it's a great product that's clinically effective. It's got a strength that is very powerful, but it's gentle enough where you can actually use it with every wash. So it'll get rid of the flakes and it will get rid of the dandruff for you.
And what about body care? How does like the cold weather affect the type of hygiene products that we should be using to keeping us smelling oh so good?
Yes. So for your hygiene and to keep you smelling good, you do want to be mindful of the fact that we use a lot of layers in the winter to try and keep our body warm. But underneath all of those layers, we're starting to get a lot of heat, and that heat turns into sweat, and then the sweat can turn into odor. So one of the best things you can do to help with that is Secret's Clinical Strength Dry Spray. This will help to keep sweat and odor under wraps for 72 hours, and it's nice and quick drying, and it doesn't leave a residue on your clothes. So this will not only keep you dry, but also keep you smelling good for 72 hours.
Well, Doc, I want to thank you. Or actually, I think that everybody that I have to be around wants to thank you. That's what I have to say.
You are welcome.
Where can our viewers go for more information and pick up some of these products, my friend?
Yes, so they can find them at the local retailers, all of the drug stores, and online as well.
Dr. Stevens, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
Planning a vacation this spring? You're not alone. Travel is set to reach new heights this season, and knowing how to make your travel points work for you can make all the difference. So, joining us today is Kelly Best, Managing Director of Loyalty at Virgin Red, who is here to help us plan smarter and travel better. Welcome, Kelly.
Hi there, how you doing?
I'm good. What is your best advice for finding travel deals?
Yeah, well, with spring break upon you, it's really a great time to think about your next vacation. So I think my tip number one would be to go and join a loyalty program that suits your lifestyle and really enables you to unlock your everyday spending and convert those points that you're earning through doing your grocery shop or filling up with your gas into amazing adventures, whether that's using them on flights or hotels or even staycations. And actually at Virgin Red, which is Virgin's loyalty program, we've got all of those things in one place. So that's a really good first tip. I think the second tip that I would give you guys is really think about the types of credit cards you're using. So there's two things here. The first one is that if you're using the likes of a Chase card or an Amex membership reward card, you can actually convert the points that you're using on those credit cards into Virgin points that you can then go and use on the likes of Virgin Atlantic, Virgin Voyages, and Virgin Hotels, and many, many other rewards within the program. And I think the third thing I would say is that, yeah, we've recently brought to market a card called the Virgin Red Rewards card, which brings together our top travel companies and enables you to collect points on your everyday spending. And actually, we've got a bonus at the moment, which is when you take out the credit card, you get 60,000 points for just joining us. And that's enough to get you 2 flights return to London and a hotel stay. So yeah, that's a really quick way to get traveling.
So, why does flexibility matter when it comes to travel, credit cards, and loyalty programs?
Well, I think historically, flexibility has meant that you get the best deals. But actually, one of the things that we've recently launched with Virgin Atlantic is the ability to use your points on any flight, anytime, anywhere, which is a really, really beneficial thing when you don't want to be restrictive, which has technically been what has been happening across lots of loyalty programs to date. So that's a really key benefit. I think if you are willing to sort of leave it to the last minute or be a bit flexible on what destinations you're happy to go to, then you really do get an opportunity to open up the best deals. So an example is that myself and my family were just sort of looking to see where we could go at a certain time period, and we decided to go to Toronto, and it actually wasn't on our minds, but because we saw such a great deal, we're now going to Canada next month. And actually, one of the great things about Virgin Red is that your points never expire. So actually, if you don't have anywhere in mind just now, you can be saving those points without any worry that they might just disappear after 2 years. So yeah, you can be saving for that rainy day and that next adventure.
And can you explain why solo travel is becoming a little more popular?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question and an interesting trend that we've been seeing, particularly with data that was recently shared by American Express, which said that 69% of people that were traveling this year are actually going to be traveling solo. So I can certainly say, as a mother of 3 young children, I would love to do a solo traveling trip, but that doesn't look like that's in my future anytime soon. But yeah, we're seeing it with millennials, we're seeing it with Gen Zs, and the hospitality sector is actually responding to that trend by putting in more provisions around solo activities and different types of accommodation to accommodate that solo traveler.
So where can our audience go to find more information on everything that you shared today?
Yeah, no problem. Well, if you go to virginred.com, you can find out about the loyalty program, but you can also take out our credit card and get 60,000 bonus points for doing so.
Kelly Best, thanks for joining me this morning.
Thank you, guys.
Looking for a spring getaway? Miami has warm weather, great food, and exciting events happening all season long. Award-winning travel journalist Juliana, TravelingJules Broste, is here to share the best places to visit and top events you won't want to miss. Welcome to the show, Juliana.
Oh, thanks for having me, Abby.
And why is Miami such a great place to visit in the spring?
Oh, this is the time and the place to be because March, springtime, we have warm weather and great temperatures and also low humidity. So that's the perfect recipe to get out and enjoy all the destination has to offer. I'm a big fan of going outdoors, getting to enjoy the blue water and also the colors in the destination because there are so many interesting neighborhoods to explore, so much culture, such a melting pot. We've got delicious food, we've got live music, and so many events coming right here to the destination. So something for everyone right here in Miami.
And what makes Miami neighborhoods so special?
Well, there are so many different neighborhoods, and I think a lot of people just see the beach and you're like, hey, we got to get out and explore. Some of my favorites would be Wynwood, which is so colorful. It has the world's largest mural art collection in the world, and also Michelin Guide restaurants. So there's one called Doya, which is so delicious. You really get a chance to have some Mediterranean tapas and share with your friends. James Beard award-winning chef in Coral Gables, Senora Martinez. That's one of my favorites, some Latin cuisine and also some live music. And Little Havana, it's just so fun to go kind of feel like you're in Cuba, getting to taste Cuban coffee. And another thing that you want to check out is the outdoors adventure for real culture, for real exploration. Hop into a kayak, go to Biscayne Bay, so beautiful. And also the airboat rides in the Everglades, you can't miss that.
And any big events travelers should check out in March?
Well, I have to take a big breath because there's so many. The music scene is off the hook. Montreux Jazz Fest comes. It's a world-renowned festival happening right here in the U.S., only in Miami. We have the Jazz in the Gardens event, 2 days of R&B and jazz, definitely a must-see. And if you're interested in flamenco, Spanish music and dance, we've got that happening at the Arch Performing Arts Center, cool costumes and all. And if you're interested in something a little more like everyday, we see the architecture, but it's so cool here. And the Open House Miami celebrates all the different architectural gems, like the Hampton House, which is all about the rich Black history and culture. And if you're into sports, we've got that too. The Miami Open is coming to town, where we're really going to enjoy, the second half of March is dedicated to tennis. Lots of star-studded athletes coming. And the Miami Grand Prix coming in May. This one's a trick. It's in May. The Formula One Miami Grand Prix will be here. So we'll be vroom-vrooming around.
And where can we go to learn more?
For more information, head on over to miamiandmiamibeach.com. Great resource for planning, cool pictures, and also some guides on what to do.
Juliana, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Grief, friendship, and a little dark humor. My Dead Friend Zoe brings it all together in a story about a veteran navigating life with her best friend who just, happens to be a ghost. Sonequa Martin Green stars as Merritt, a U.S. Army veteran facing family struggles, personal loss, and the ever-present Zoe. The movie's already in theaters, and Sonequa joins me right now. Welcome to the show, Sonequa. How are you?
Oh, I'm so good. Thank you for having me.
All right. This film walks like a fine line between drama, dark comedy. Like, how did you approach playing Merritt, someone that's like dealing with grief in such a really unconventional way?
Oh, well, thank you for calling it unconventional. It's a lot of a lot of how I dealt with it and the carrying of the role and the carrying of the weight of the role was because I was seeking to do justice to Kyle Houseman Stokes, because this is his story. Our director, who also wrote this, AJ Bermudez, helped write as well, but this is his story, 93% as it happened. And so from the very beginning, I knew that I needed to do this justice. And this is a veteran story. It is about PTSD, survivor's remorse and shame and guilt and acclimating to life after war. But it's also for anybody, whether you served or not, who's dealing with these things, because so many of us are. So many are walking around with this kind of pain. So I think that in order for all of that to land, and in order for the prevailing theme of the film to come across, which is talk about it before you make a rash decision, talk about it, I think we need the humor to really like round it out. And so Natalie Morales, she offers that buoyancy that the film needs. And I mean, she's mainly the reason why, it's a dark comedy. Kyle wrote a really brilliantly balanced script. And it was wonderful to be able to bring it to life with her. And sort of, I represent the gravity, she represented the levity.
Sonequa Martin Green, thanks for joining me this morning. My Dead Friend Zoe is now playing in theaters, so if you haven't seen it yet, this is the perfect time to go check it out. To find showtimes, to learn more, go to mydeadfriendzoemovie.com. Sonequa, thanks for joining me this morning.
Thank you for having me. This was great.
And that's it for New Mexico Rising. I want to thank you for tuning in and checking out the show. If you actually want to be on the show, email me. That's newmexicorising@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook and social media. Also, go to our website. That's newmexicorising.com. Buy some of the stuff that we get from some of our clients, and we'll send those to you for free. All you got to do is pay for shipping. And if you want to follow us on YouTube, we are at NM Rising. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that extra good stuff so that you could check out the show every time we upload a new one. And until next week, that was New Mexico Rising.
Transform ordinary moments into extraordinary memories with our magical succulent bar. Whether it's a quiet moment of reflection or a first date, let the enchantment of nature enhance every occasion. Radiate positivity and create manifestations while making your very own magical succulent. Embrace the magic at Zinkstown, where we bring positivity to any occasion.